Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you how to make these yummy chocolate chip cookies. They are keto friendly, they are gluten free, sugar free, and I just want you to come along and I'll show you the ingredients that I'm using and we're going to get to making these cookies. Now this recipe makes 36 1-inch cookies. Now I like to do the smaller cookies because I don't know anybody that hasn't ate one cookie and didn't want to go back to get another one. So this way you feel like you're getting two, but it's just a little bit smaller. Now in this bowl here, I have 2 1/4 cups almond flour. Now I get my almond flour from Costco. It is the cheapest to get, and it is actually a real nice almond flour. So we've got 2 1/4 cups of almond flour. And adding to my almond flour, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and baking soda. So I've got my baking powder here, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Give that a little bit of a mix up here. I'm going to do just 2 grinds of Himalayan pink salt. I'm going to add in 8 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Okay, I've got my butter in. I'm going to just mix it up a little bit. And we're going to add in 1 egg. And mix that in. Now on my cookie recipe, I use 6 tablespoons each of the white Swerve and the brown sugar Swerve. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. Also going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now this is my homemade vanilla extract. If you've never made vanilla extract, it is so easy, so simple to do. Check out my video on how to make it. Now this was straight up clear when I first started, and look at that depth of color here. I've got my vanilla beans in here. I'll use the vanilla beans for desserts, adding the beans, the seeds to them to make a wonderful dessert. But this is almost 9 months old, and if you watch this other video, you can definitely see the difference in the color and how it's changed over the few months. And I'm getting to the point where I'm about halfway down, so I'm going to go ahead and purchase some more vanilla beans. I'm going to add some more alcohol to it. If you want to know how to make your own homemade vanilla extract, watch this video. Super easy to do, and it makes the difference in our cookies. Right, so we've got our Swerve, our vanilla extract, our baking powder, our baking soda, the 1 egg, and we're just going to mix it up. I'm sure you've made cookies. This is super easy to do with these ingredients. You just keep blending it, mixing your ingredients. Now, if you haven't baked before, a lot of times, depending on the climate that you're in, I live in Arizona, very dry. A lot of times you'll add like if you're making a pie crust, certain different desserts, you may have to add a little bit more moisture. Some climates, if you're with a lot of moisture, you don't have to worry about this. But here in the deserts, sometimes I'll follow my own ingredient and I'll have different ways that it'll turn out the dough. Now, if you've made cookies and you know the texture of what you need, this is close to the texture, but it's a little bit dry. Now, I don't add water to mine to moisten it up. All I'll do, because I like my vanilla, is I'll just add a teeny bit more vanilla to my mixture. So probably another 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And that'll help moisten your dough out a little bit. All right, we're good and mixed. And I'm going to add in 1/3 each cup of my Lily's chocolates. I've got semi-sweet, I've got milk chocolate, and I have dark chocolate. If you haven't seen Lily's chocolate, check it out. And I've also got the Swerve. If you want to see what the Swerve looks like, it's here. We're going to add in the 1 cup of chocolate chips. How simple was that? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my refrigerator for 15 minutes. Now when I make my chocolate chip cookies, be it regular with normal sugar or with the Swerve, I always like refrigerating my cookie dough. The cookies seem to turn out better versus putting them on a hot cookie sheet. So even when I've done the scoops of it for the first sheet, I'll put the dough back in the refrigerator and let it stay cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator and let it sit for 15 minutes. So now all I'm going to do is just simply, with my scoop, and I'm going to keep them in the ball. I'm not going to flatten these out. These little scoops make life wonderful. It is so easy to bake when you have scoops like this. I have one even smaller than this that I use for deviled eggs. All right, so I've got these done. I'm going to pop them in the oven, 350 degrees for 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So my timer went off on my cookies. Going to go ahead and pull them out of the oven. Now my cookies got a little brown because I just cooked something at 400 degrees, and so you can tell the oven was a little bit warm in there. I'll show you the next batch, but they're still super yummy. And also, you see what's peeping back there? I have a breadstick that I made last night. And if you want to see how to make a gluten-free breadstick that is super yummy, and while my cookies were baking, I went ahead and I put it in the oven so it'd warm up. These things are the bomb. So good. I'm going to go ahead and let these sit for a couple minutes and then I'll get back with you. So on my next batch, I went ahead and I'm going to go ahead and make cookies with this next smaller size. So I already have a dozen of my cookies in my cake plate. I've got my last batch cooling off over here and this batch. Now what I wanted to show you, what I'm going to do is I've got enlightened vanilla ice cream. We have on this 14 carbohydrates, 5 dietary fibers, 5 erythritol, net carbs per half a cup. So in a half a cup, I went ahead and measured, this is a half a cup of that ice cream, and the way I figured it out is I could make 10 cookies with my smallest of scoops. So by making my 10 cookies and averaging it out, it's 2 net carbs with the ice cream and 2 cookies. So all I'm going to do is take my scoop, I'm going to put it on my cookie, and then I'm going to take a cookie and I'm going to make a little ice cream sandwich out of it. You're going to have to take your fingers and you're going to have to smush down the ice cream unless you've let it sit there long enough, but I don't want it to be melty and runny. So I'm going to go ahead and just push it down with my fingers. As cooks, you know your hands are clean, at least they should be. So I have my ice cream sandwich here. I've got my cookies. I've got the other ones in the freezer. A few tips. Make sure that when you do this, make sure that your cookies are in the refrigerator and come out cold. And what I ended up doing is doing a scoop of the ice cream, smushing it, and then putting one in the freezer. I live in Arizona and things just melt way too fast. So all of them are setting up. Two cookies, a scoop of the ice cream, and we're under 2 carbs. I think that's a great treat for a snack for your family. I know my husband's going to love them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. If you want to be notified for future videos, ring the bell. Have a blessed day.